Hey friend, it's Gustafson. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be getting into the topic of how to encourage your residents to have good behaviors in your residential assisted living facility. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about that, plus a little story, make sure you stick around for today's video. Hey friend, I'm Brandon Gustafson. I own and operate 2 assisted living facilities, and I created this channel to help people just like you learn the ins and outs of assisted living. Welcome to Assisted Living Investing. Before we get into our topic today around how to encourage good behaviors with your residents, I wanted to remind you to get over to the website, assistedlivinginvesting.net/calculator. We have a link down in the video description below that gets you access to their free underwriting calculator to help you out on your investment journey. So make sure you get over there and get access to that free tool to help you reach your investment goals. Now let's get into the topic of today's video. Again, we're talking about how to encourage good behaviors with residents at your assisted living facility. This is a topic that honestly can be difficult. As people go and age into this phase of life, they are starting to lose control. And I don't want to compare adults to toddlers, but I think there's some comparison that can happen here. And so this is not in any way meant to be demeaning. I want to clarify that. But when you think about what happens when you tell a toddler that they can't do something, they will typically act out. And they will act out in a variety of ways. They'll throw a fit. They will run around and scream. They will do the exact thing that you just told them not to do. And they do that out of spite, and they do that to kind of combat you and try to kind of push their boundaries. Now, as people get older and their mind starts to regress, they fall into some of those types of tendencies as well, especially if you have somebody that is moving from a spot where they are independent and they have their own life, and they're now moving to an assisted living facility, and they have people telling them what to do and how to do things. And losing that control can be really hard, and sometimes residents will act out. I wanted to share a story with you about a resident who had this happen. They I can't recall exactly what the behavior was that they were trying to that we were trying to work with, but ultimately we had a resident that started flushing paper towels down the toilet enough that it kept flooding the toilet. And it just was getting frustrating for our staff, for our administrator, for us, because we had to buy a lot of toilet paper and extra paper towels, and calling a plumber out to come and fix the toilet, and all of the things that happen when that occurs. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating for us. It's frustrating for the resident, because something's going on in their lives that they feel the need to do these things because they want control, and this is the thing that they can control. And so there's just kind of this component here of how are we going to handle that situation. So I want to take that story of a resident flushing paper towels down a toilet and having all the issues that come from that, and help kind of coach you through the process of how you can encourage good behaviors in your residents. And I want you to kind of take this information and extrapolate it to your situation. You might not have a resident that is flushing paper towels down the toilet, but you might. But regardless, I think you're going to be able to take a lot of the knowledge from this video and help you out through your process in how to encourage those good behaviors with your residents. Now, one of the top ways that you can improve behaviors is communication and education. Doing these things is going to help you out through that process. So I'm going to talk to you briefly about a few of these things. One is open dialogue with your residents. You want to make sure that you are having conversations with them and expressing to them and just kind of communicating, over communicating, making them feel valued and loved. Next is explain the reasons. Tell them why they shouldn't be flushing that toilet paper, those paper towels down the toilet. It's going to have such a negative impact. It's going to impact the plumbing. It's going to cost us a lot of money. And you want to have those types of conversations about what is going on. Using visual aids is another one, because sometimes using words and things, as people start to cognitively decline, they're not going to be able to understand the words. And so having signs out there, like a circle with toilet, certain types of paper getting thrown into a toilet or something like that. That kind of a graphic can really help communicate your desire for what you need to have happen, and help make sure that your residents are doing the things that they need to be. Having that constant reminder is going to help them improve their behaviors as well. And then encouraging questions. You have your resident that is, well, why can't I flush the toilet paper down the toilet? You want to have that dialogue, you want to have those conversations. But if you are running a house that makes your residents feel like they can't ask questions and need an level of understanding, but you're not there providing it to them, they're going to just continue doing those behaviors. So you want to be careful with that process and what it looks like and how that's going to work for you. Next is we're going to talk about a little bit about positive reinforcement. Now, this is the second way that you can encourage those good behaviors, and this is through doing positive reinforcement, doing things that if they do good things, they get rewards of some kind. You want to recognize and celebrate the things that they do well. Now, if this is a specific resident, if they're having issues with flushing toilet paper or paper towels down the toilet, and they don't do it for a week, you want to praise them and say, oh, you did so good with this. Thank you so much for listening and following the rules. You want to verbally praise them and be excited about it, and really share with them that you're proud of them for the work for the things that they're doing correctly. It's going to help them, encourage them to do good things. You want to encourage peer support, and this can come through other residents. And kind of creating a buddy with your residents, so that you have residents that can encourage them to improve or correct behaviors. And having that friend and that support and that peer, not the staff, the caregiver, where it can feel like a different dynamic where it's coming down to them. Having it come across with a peer is going to help out, and just kind of encouraging that one-to-one. So if you have a good resident that is like really friendly and can help you through that process, and they're understanding and they're not going to blab their mouth about things, that type of a resident can really help you out through the process in creating that peer-to-peer, just kind of good, strong encouragement, and help you through the process and helping make good decisions. The third one we're going to talk about is environment and accessibility. So you want to make it easy for your residents to follow the rules. You don't want to make it hard. You don't want to put barriers in the way. You want to make sure that you are giving them good ways for them to make these good decisions. So in the story of helping out with the paper towels, you might want to put a wastebasket next to the toilet. You might want to put up signs that say things or show pictures of what they're supposed to be doing. Those types of things are going to make it easy for them to have good behaviors. You also want to minimize confusion. You might want to take the paper towels out of the bathroom so that it's not there and they don't fall into those bad habits. You might want to make some of those changes so that it's just not confusing to the residents and they know what they are supposed to be doing. In the situation with the paper towels, you want to avoid the confusion of just making those things accessible and it's like, what do I do with this? It's paper. I should be putting it in the toilet, when that's really not what you need to do. And then the other piece of that is regular reminders. If you have resident meetings or state of the house meetings or whatever it is that you're doing, you might want to put that on your rotating schedule of things that you need to talk about to make sure that your residents are reminded that they need to not be putting toilet paper or paper towels into the toilet, and that they should be throwing that into the garbage. So you want to make sure that you have regular reminders. If it's a one-off situation, you might want to have a regular, a weekly or even daily quick conversation with the resident where you praise them if they do something good and correct them if they do something bad and don't follow the rules. So doing that, having those regular conversations is going to help. I wanted to get into a quick bonus tip as well, and this is patience and empathy. You want to understand the perspective of the resident. They may be declining cognitively. They may not understand what the differences between toilet paper and paper towels are now. They may not comprehend the consequences of putting paper towels into a toilet, and that's going to clog it and cause issues, and it's going to require a plumber to come out and help through the process. You need to understand their perspective, that they just may not understand that, and you need to help them understand and be patient with them as well. And you you really have to exercise patience as you're working through people. A big reason why residents come into an assisted living facility is they have behavioral issues. And dealing with behavioral issues is frustrating for them, it's frustrating for you, frustrating for your staff, frustrating for their family members. Everybody needs to come to the table and understand that these behaviors are going to happen. And we have to work through them and be supportive and have a good, solid care team in place that's going to help make good choices for the resident and help them out through their process of living in the assisted living facility. You need to also just remember that encouraging good behaviors is an ongoing process, something you're going to have to do with every single resident that you have and multiple times, every single resident that you will have. This is a part of running and operating an assisted living facility. There's a lot that goes into it, and you just have to be patient and consistent with it as you go through that process. To recap this video, we've been talking about how to encourage residents to have good behaviors. And we've been talking about a story about paper towels getting flushed down the toilet and kind of going through the process of how you're going to handle them, talking about positive reinforcement, patience, and empathy. And we've also been talking a little bit about communication and education and creating an environment and creating making it accessible for them to succeed in their goals. If you found this information to be helpful, or if you've had a situation that has been rough for you, where you've had to change, help encourage good behaviors with the residents, comment that down below. I'd love to hear about that. What are your stories? And share that with us so the group can understand what it's like to run and operate an assisted living facility. Like the video as well if it was helpful. Subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified every time we go do one of these videos on the channel. And get over to the website assistedlivinginvesting.net. We got a link down below so you can get access to our free underwriting calculator to help you through the process. Does residential assisted living sound interesting to you, but you don't know how to get started? At assistedlivinginvesting.net, we're here to help you through the process, start to finish. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.